Okay, so we're going to get started making this waterfall, but let me just show you how this specific waterfall works. So you have a tab on the bottom here and you pull it and your waterfall flips just like that. So with this piece here, you're going to make your waterfall, but you're not going to attach anything to the page until after you put your pattern paper on. So again, it just, real easy, it just flips. And this, I promise, is super simple to make. All right, so let's get started. So you don't need many pieces for this. So for your waterfall, you are going to need one piece that is 5 by 12, and you're going to put the 12-inch side in your scoreboard, and you're going to score it at 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9. So you want to go ahead and fold on all those score lines, and you're going to do it just like the other ways I was doing the score lines. Make sure everything's nice and even, and you're going to score them both ways. So go ahead and fold all of these down like this. Making sure you're even. And then go ahead and flip it over and score backwards, because you want to be able to, when you're trying to get that nice flip, you want the score lines well creased when you do that. Okay, just like that. All right, so you have all your score lines. So now with your tape that you want to put on, I waited to do this to show you. So your first run of tape, I'm using 3/8 inch tape. Your first one is actually going to go below the first score line here. So you're going to put it down here. So as you can see, there is no score lines on this part, but you're going to put your tape right under that first line. And then you're going to put score tape on every other line between the score lines. Okay. Let me show you. So it's on all the score lines, starting with this one here, and then on this big piece here, you're just going to have one here. So altogether, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of score tape. And then you also need your photo mats. So these right here are cut 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. There is no score lines on these. And then you also need one piece that is 1 by 7 1/4, and you are going to put this in your scoreboard on the 7 1/4 inch side and score it a 1/2 inch and 6 3/4. And we are going to apply our tape. And then go ahead and fold. So you're folding your tape over. Now this piece here, just pick one of your photo mats and place it at the bottom, lining it up perfectly against the cut edges, just like that. And you're going to go ahead and stick it down. Just like so. And when you flip it over, you don't see any of that. All right, so this is your first piece. And this piece here is what's going to stick on this first tape that is on just this little flap here. All right, so now if you want to make sure that you have everything centered nice, you can go ahead and find your centers. And let me find my ruler. So we already know that this piece here is 6 1/4. So your center point would be 3 1/8 on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and just mark this So 3 1/8 right there. So I'm just going to put a little tick mark in the center. You can just barely see it, so you can't even see it there, but it's in the center. So 3 1/8 on each side of my centering ruler, and then a little mark in the center. And then again on this piece here, I want to find my center again. So this piece here is 5 inches, so 2 1/2 is going to be my center. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little mark kind of right on, I don't know if you're even going to be able to see it, no, but I put a little tick mark right here in the center. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be even. So I'm going to take the little tick mark I put here, and I'm going to line it up to the little tick mark I put there. And I'm going to make sure I'm centered, so I'll have the equal spacing on both sides. And remember, this piece here is the one with the little band that you put on the back. So I'm just going to turn this one so I can see better. So I'm bringing this right here, right up to my first score line, right there. And I'll show you. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have them lined up. And I'm also lined up to the score line here. And you can see pretty much I have equal spacing here and here. I'm going to hold it down. And I'm just going to lightly lift my photo mat so I can kind of pull my tape up. And I stuck it down. So now right now my first photo mat is stuck. So now all the rest will be easy because this one here is centered. And you can go ahead and erase your tick marks. Although if you make them small enough, you're not even going to see them. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and line up the next one right again against this score line here. And I'm making sure my photo mat is going to be even from side to side if I turn it this way. So I'm going to put this right here, making sure you're going to find the score line so you can make sure you're nice and straight there. And then you're making sure this part here is nice and straight to this bottom piece. All right. So I'm just going to turn it because it's easier for me to see. And once you know you're in where you need to be, go ahead, hold it down. And I'm just going to lift the score tape up. And I'm going to do that for each one thereafter, making sure I'm all lined up. And this is a really neat effect, and whoops. And it's not really that difficult. It's kind of easy to make. And then my last one. So make sure when you're lining it up, you're just below that score line because you don't want to go over it. So and on the last piece, if you want to, you can go ahead and fold this over just like this for now, because you do want to make sure that your top piece is covering all the black because you don't really want to see that part. So if you go ahead and line everything up and bring it right up to the top. Go ahead and stick it down. So now what you have right now is this piece here. And if you turn it over, this is what it looks like. And your first piece that you put on has this little band. So now what you want to do is you're just going to take this, if you're flipped over, take this piece and just tuck it in just like that. And that's it. And then that is how, it's probably going to be hard to do this, but that is how you get this look right here. So you're just taking and tucking this piece right into that. And then again, how you get your nice waterfall. So when you go ahead and stick this in the book on your little band, this is the only spot here you're going to put tape. But you're not going to be able to do that right now until you add your pattern paper. So again, so if we walk through it, open all this up, and then you're on the back page. And don't forget, this is the little binding flap you're going to stick down. So your waterfall is going to go right here. You're going to center it here, but you can't put it on until you do your pattern paper. So just so you know, go ahead and you can just add some tape to the back. And I'm just adding tape to that part. So then you can go ahead and when you get your pattern paper on, just go ahead and stick it down. And make sure you don't get tape on this part here, because that's the part that is going to make you flip when you pull it. Alright, so anyway, you need to make 2 of those.